Sam Darley here, and now I'm going to break down the AFC West draft needs for the Oakland Raiders. Last year, the Oakland Raiders picked Khalil Mack with their fourth pick, and in the second round, they took quarterback Derek Carr. Now, I thought Khalil Mack should have been the number one pick, or at least the very least, be the number 3 pick in last year's draft. Schematically, I thought he fit the Texans better than Clowney. I still kind of feel that way. But they chose Clowney, and now hopefully they can fix him and he can produce for them. But, it is what it is. What's done is done. So moving on, the Oakland Raiders have got 2 cornerstone pieces to build around. The problem is they had a huge amount of cap space, but they didn't spend any of it. And I think that's kind of smart for them. They didn't overpay on anybody. They didn't get silly with their money, and that's really good. That shows to me that they're turning a corner, because so many times I see bad teams getting desperate and overspending on free agents instead of filling a team need or two and doing well in the draft. I feel like the Raiders really did what I thought. I mean, maybe the fact that they're possibly moving, that might have affected their ability to sign people. Just the thought of, well, you might not be in the same city. You might be, you might not be. But they got 2 really good cornerstone pieces. I like Khalil Mack a lot. I think he's going to be an absolute monster of a linebacker. Excuse me. I think Derek Carr, as long as he continues to grow and continue to continue to improve his game, he's going to become one of the top quarterbacks in this league. But what do they need? But they need to build around both of them. They need a lot of help on defense, and they need a lot of help on offense. They're I think they're at least 3 years away from being a legit contender if they play their cards right. If they get production from their draft class and they pick up a couple of more free agents to fill up some more needs in the coming off seasons. They're not quite there yet. Jack Del Rio is a heck of a coach. I thought he did a tremendous job in Jacksonville. And really, all you have to do is look at the fact that Jacksonville hasn't touched a winning season since he left. That's terrible. Excuse me. But they need offensive line help. Their first pick is going to be, I guarantee their first pick is going to be either Kevin White or Amari Cooper. Unless they're downright stupid. They need a number 1 receiver, and that's why I think they're going to take Cooper or White with their first pick, because their first pick, because their most pressing need on offense, besides offensive line, is wide receiver. And there's only 2 number 1 receivers in this draft. Everybody else is either a number 2 or a slot receiver, at least in my opinion. But they need to, they do need to address their offensive line. Latavius Murray, I think, could be a really good running back. I don't know if he, again, I don't know what kind of system Del Rio is going to run in Oakland. He could run a run and gun, a spread offense. I do know that he's a pretty good defensive coach. The Broncos were going to be as good as they were under Del Rio. I mean, they had the talent, sure, but I just don't think they didn't have the physical toughness or the mental toughness to be even considered an elite defensive team. I think the Oakland Raiders, I think Del Rio is going to give the Raiders a chance to compete and contend in the coming years, as long as he drafts right, and like I said, picks up a couple more free agents. But they need to get the right players. They need to stop spending willy-nilly and get players that can really help them, because last year I don't think they did that. They picked up a lot of aging talent and it didn't pay off for them. So in this draft, outside of wide receiver, they've got to address their offensive line, their defensive line, their secondary. They're not very deep. They're they're pretty paper thin on the depth chart at a lot of key positions. Yeah, they got the quarterback of the future. But I like where they're going, and I do. I really think they're going to be going in the right direction. Who knows? Maybe they could win 6 or 7 games this year. They're not a playoff team yet. I wish everybody would stop acting like they're gonna do something this year, because they're not. And it might be a couple more years. But I like where they're going. If they're staying in Oakland, that actually might help them get some players in the free agent market. They need to. I think they will move to LA. I think they're one of the teams that will probably move to LA, whether they share a stadium or not. That remains to be seen. But going back to the whole point, going back to answer the question at hand, they need quite a bit. They're still team wise, they're not quite there, but they're going in the right direction. I look at them and I think if 6 or 7 wins this year, probably realistic for them. But you never know. You never know. We'll see what happens on draft night. But tell me what you think they need. What will it take to continue to push the Raiders up the ladder in the AFC West and the AFC, and make them a legitimate contender for years to come? Tell me what you think. This has been Sam Darley with the Sam Darley Show. Thanks for watching.